Ladies and gentlemen, from whatever part of the globe you are watching us from, welcome to the conversation. This is Richard Mwenja Exclusive. I am that Richard Mwenja. And today we continue advancing and unpacking conversations shaping Kenya's political and governance landscape. And who better to help me bring such conversations home than this firebrand political analyst and renowned public scholar. The first of his name, son of Lumbe, Herman Manyora, the professor himself. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and you?
I am well.
You
Glad
look well,
to be here.
Good.
Your friends are on the frying pan. DP Rigathi, Gachagua, President Ruto, and the son of Western Kenya, Cleophas Malala. Let's start with him. Ousted SG. Cleo. Now, the ousted AG of the ruling party, that is UDA, has come forth crying, firing warning shots to President Ruto that by trying to impeach Gachagua, he's actually digging his own political grave and writing his obituary. But many people are curious to understand, Prof. As a seasoned analyst, for Cleo, is it more of just being a political orphan or widow who should be allowed to sulk and cry?
Yeah, of course. When you've been in these big offices and you are dropped down, you feel it. So we can allow you some little space, to let off some little steam.
But is there a sense in the claim?
Of course, yeah. What you're saying it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he may be a bitter person. It's coming from a person who is bitter. With Ruto and the rest, but what he says makes a lot of sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Because really, playing around with Gachagua may not be the best thing for Ruto. Yeah.
It is not only Cleophas Malala, the ousted SG, who is bitter. Also, one of the activists, Mobaso Kerara, has come forth saying it comes to a time whereby a nation is not worth fighting for. You contemplate whether it's worth fighting for or not. And we've seen these cases whereby these activists are pitted against each other. Mercy Tarus versus Morara Kebaso, Boniface Mwangi, Hanifa against other quarters. Are we in the age, Prof, of commercial activism?
You know what? It is the kitchen. And the kitchen gets hot.
How so?
You know, you enter these things you think is a cup of tea. You realize it is hot. You are on the spotlight. There is a lot of heat generated. There are offers made to you. People are being played against each other. There's backstabbing. You become a pawn in a game you don't understand. This is a big game. That's the time you realize it is bigger than you thought. So I don't blame these young people. At the same time, there are always breaking points for everybody in life. There are breaking points. And let me tell you, what Morara is saying is the epitome of what really happens with all activism kind of politics. Because politics has become so transactional that every person who engages in political activism, especially at the national level, gets to that point when they ask exactly what Morara Kebaso is asking. Is it worth it? First of all, the people are thankless. You know that?
Are they?
They're thankless. People say, this name, I can't get it.
Mobaso Kerara.
Mobaso Kerara. Umogusi. People send him miserable shillings, 50, 100.
Miserable is the word?
The one who was tried, 1,000.
Now he's offering to refund
now,
the top-up.
You see, I read this on Twitter, one of these places. There are too many of these things I can't keep. Somebody says, you give this Kebaso man, this Morara man, some 500 and you complain. But other people are taking your billions.
There?
He's talking about the billions that are being wasted. And you are seeing these 50 shillings you give him. Society most times is thankless. So those questions keep coming. Is it really worth it? And then there are the temptations that come with it. Once you're in the limelight like that, a few boys from these outfits can come and throw a few coins your way, and you've never seen big money. Somebody gives you 5 million.
You sacrifice the cause.
My advice to them, sometimes is always, I've seen it, sometimes it's just a promise. He'll give you 10 million, lakini shika hii 500 kwanza tukijipanga. That's it. You have already compromised. They will never get anything else. But I don't blame them. It's difficult. The kitchen gets hot. Yeah.
Some would argue that during the days of Ndingi, Mwana, and Zeki, Bishop Gitari, they were patient with the cause and they followed through it to the latter. But we have seen Boniface Mwangi the other day contemplating suicide because of the backlash from Kenyans. Now Morara is contemplating refunding people their money and leaving the cause midway.
The heat.
What's the difference between the activists of those days and those of today?
You know, times change. If I may ask you, was there a TV then that would cost anything, even close to 1/100th of what TVs are costing today? What was a successful man's house? It just had a TV Iambao. And the vehicles were just 504 and no. But today, the things that are competing for money, the world has gone to another level where you need big money to enjoy good life. So the temptation goes higher. Cost of living goes higher. The attractions in life, the trappings of civilization are much more. Yeah? Children want to go better schools. In those days of Ndingi Mwana Anzeki,
Gitobu Manyora and all.
in those days, even the children of the rich, children of ministers, were in schools. Our children were in schools with ministers' children those days.
Same school?
Yeah. But today, even you went to the best school, can you find a minister's child there? No.
Akomaju?
The world has changed. Akomaju, Akwea. So the world has changed. The demands on individuals is much more today. Yeah. So the temptation is that much higher. Yeah. And politics has become very transactional. You get to a point you give up. How come all the people who are there, the ones you have mentioned, the young thugs, who would have known they would be living in Karen today? Who would have imagined that they could go to Karen, Lavington? Who would have imagined? All these, I don't want to mention, but you know all of them. They are all in Karen, and how? How did they get there? Something had to give way. You cannot be living the life you are living today if you stuck to the activism you are doing. If there are deals for which you stood, if the Kenya you wanted, if you continue pursuing that Kenya, there's no way you could move from Buruburu to Karen.
It makes sense.
In order for you to move from Buruburu to Karen, you have to make a lot of compromises. You must join them in stealing. And it is obvious. I've talked to them, I've said in my shows, and some of them have told me, Manyora, you are the last man standing. It's not easy to remain the way I am.
Brown envelopes everywhere?
It's not easy. Because you see things you are missing, which other people have. Even people close to you tell you you are stupid. If you became a principal secretary, PS, and the 2 years down the line you are not putting up a house in Karen, people will call you stupid.
For not stealing
Of
public
course, yeah. You saw that woman. She had been a CS for 6 months. She was already fighting over a house in Karen. Worth tens of millions. You remember that case?
Yeah, sure.
So, sasa kweli umekuwa waziri miezi 6, hii pesa kununua nyumba Karen umetoa wapi? But if you don't do it, people close to you, your relatives, your children, your husband or your wife, they will see you as stupid. Society will see you. So, I'm not blaming anybody. You all activists reach that point.
All of them?
All of them. Very few can go beyond. So to find people like Gitobu Manyora is not easy. Ndugu Mtumishi, Ndengwa Gadangu, Mtumishi. They are still true to the cause. But you find them, they look miserable. They don't have anything. So you must be extremely strong not to tip over at that point. So I understand these young people.
Rightly put. And the other day we saw the face of the Gen Z protest. One gentleman, Kasmuel Makoure, enjoying some good time, rather in a meeting engagement with Silvana Sosoro. And there was so much backlash from it. And I'm curious to understand, why are we limiting the freedom to engage of our activists? Is it a crime for them to be people from the other side who are considered the evils?
No. Because they are human beings. Even Jesus said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So I would not be surprised if I found some of these people engaged in the usual things that everybody else is engaged in, because they are human beings. It is tricky. I've been there, Many people don't know my history. When my memoirs come out, they will understand.
It is long overdue, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a little lazy. I've been there. You always find you are left alone. Even in school, for those of us who used to be in school, you organize things like strike and whatever, you're pushing for things. At the end of the day, you find you are alone, you are being suspended or expelled. Nobody, you look around, you are alone. College, the same. I've seen all these things, I've gone through them, and now it's not easy at all. So understand these young people. Yeah.
So would you say then for Kenyans, we are so unfair to them by seeing them with Osoro and you are fighting them?
Don't. They're human beings.
That would be selective judgment?
Yeah, it's not good. If you found me with anybody like Ruto or whoever else, why would you want to judge me? And how do you... Kwani Salvana Sosoro, is he a devil? He's just a young man who is mesmerized with the trappings of things and little power. But he's not a bad man. He's just a good man but from nowhere, he's able to buy a watch of, say, 50 million or 10 million or 5 million. It will go to your head.
But it is said association with the devil makes you the lesser devil.
No. It doesn't work. Even Jesus. This seems the whole essence of the current Pope of the Catholic Church. That let's live with people, sinners, because they need us more than... that seems the philosophy of the current Pope.
Sure.
Okay? Receive them, all of them. Be with them. Pray with them. Don't make them outcasts, whoever they are.
Come as you are.
Yeah, come as you are. That's the philosophy of the current Pope. It's not a very popular thing, though. So equally, there will be nothing wrong with interacting with the wrong people. They could learn a thing or two from you. They could also make you see things you are not seeing. Because sometimes when you are engaged in activism, and I've been engaged in it, you create a world of your own. A utopian world sometimes. An ideal world. Sometimes you need a dose of what is really true and pragmatic and practical. So interacting with people, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So Samuel, and these are young people. What do you expect people like Samuel to? They are young people. They are yet to know the world. The world is tougher than they think. They will soon discover the world is tougher than they think. So out of the many there are many, they are not few. Out of the Samuels, the Moraras, the Hanifas, Boniface Mwangis, out of these, a few will come, will make the journey, will cross over to the other side, and cross the Jordan and get to Canaan with people. It can't be everybody.
It can't be everyone?
No, it had to be Moses, who didn't even get to Canaan. It can't be everybody.
And for them to get to the other side of the road, what cardinal rules should they play by? Now for like Masita Rus, Morara Kebaso, what should be that?
You must know it's not easy. You are not in a simple game. It is difficult. There are temptations. There are traps. There's betrayal. You'll be lured. You see things you have never imagined can come your way. People float monies you have never imagined. You can close your eyes one night and see you are living in Karen. It's not easy. But the guiding principle that some of us perhaps used, you need to have a philosophy of life. Without that, a philosophy that then becomes the guiding principle. So for example, for me, and I know there are others like me, money is not, it doesn't mean what it means to people.
Like Mother Karua once said.
Yeah, Mother Karua and I are in the same boat. If money doesn't mean to you what it means to these people, you can resist a lot of things. But if you join Kenyans in worshipping money, that money is everything. You see your success in terms of material things you have. The car you drive, the house you live in, your bank account, the watch you put on, the shoe you put. If your world rotates around material things, you'll be very easy to be bought. Of course, me if I had wanted, I would be rich. I mean, I don't want to mention, but surely if I had, even right from school.
Offers have been made to you?
Right from school. If I was not a man who says no, whenever the other man is trembling and saying yes, I would be far. I would be far. My schooling was distracted. Otherwise, I would be the best lawyer in town. What are you talking about?
Not even Ndegwa Njiro.
Which lawyer here would match me?
Ndegwa Njiro.
If I went to law school, which lawyer? No, I'm not seeing any. I will be the lead lawyer in this country.
President LSK.
Those are small accolades. I would have long passed that. But because you stand with the truth, you pay for it, your schooling is disrupted, you are suspended, you are expelled. It's not easy. I've been there and I know it. So don't blame these young people. But out of the many of them, some will survive. Survive the heat. But they must know it's not easy. Even your own family will sit you down. I tell you, what is this you are doing? So you have to be very clear about what you want. You have to know it's not easy. But you must also, just like the Catholics, Do you think is being a nun?
It ain't.
Or being a priest? Seeing as it were, you must sacrifice
Selflessness.
things of the world, pleasures of the flesh and all that. And the Catholic Church, I may not be, I went to a Catholic school, maybe I forgot. You cannot have deformities, sexual deformities, for example, or sexual problems. Then you go and hide in the church. They want a normal person, a normal lady who can get married and give birth to children, to sacrifice and get married to Christ. We don't want someone who is hiding there because he has a problem. So you walk the path to become a Catholic priest or a Catholic nun, very consciously knowing what you are walking into.
Paying the high price.
Yes. And there are even some orders among, I think like the Opus or whatever they are called.
They take an oath.
Those who don't even earn a salary.
Opus Dei.
You saw your immediate past governor,
CBK
Central
governor.
Bank.
Yeah, sure.
With all the millions in salary, he doesn't take it. At the university, we have a guy called Jack. They don't take the salary. So, if you want to succeed in this game, be aware of what you are going into. But so long as you are a normal Kenyan and money is everything, you can take from you won't go far. They'll give you little money and you lose the game. Little, it's not even big money. Nobody gives you big money. Who can give you big money?
So you could even end up in Korogosho and not move to the...
Yes,
to the
and don't expect Kenyans to appreciate. You and I have been talking about this country for how long now?
And we are here.
Mbona mtu hajakuja kupaka gari hapa nje asema Manyora, hii kazi unafanya, you are doing the Lord's work.
Wacha Richard avae suti.
Yeah. Have you had somebody that sent me 20,000? So don't even expect people to appreciate, because especially this country, we are so used to con men that if, for example, I decided to con Kenyans on this show, and you know I have the language, I play games on Kenyans.
You'd be a proud star, par excellence?
I will be a billionaire. Even if I created a church, don't I have the voice for church, for preaching?
Manyora ministry.
Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. I will mint money. Kenyans are used to being conned from all corners.
All right.
But a Kenyan, to see another Kenyan is doing a good job, they need support. Even those who give to needy people, a camera must be there to record the giving.
I am helping the less fortunate.
But if you go in places like UK and the rest, there are many philanthropists who assist causes and they don't want anybody to know.
Hawataki picha? Not even a tweet?
Anaenda children's home, hata will, watu wanaandika will, pesa yake yote inaenda kwa children home ama home of the elderly, palliative care centers. You know, Kenya mtu anakufa na hiyo pesa yote hata mpaka azikwe na hata ijui itaenda wapi. Hakuna hata mmoja anasema why can't I start a program for paying fees for the needy children, about 50 from each county, as my will. I establish a fund.
A trust.
A trust. Unaona Kenya wakifanya hiyo?
Morara ameambiwa arudishe 50 bob.
Look, 50 bob. These are Kenyans for you. So advise the young people, Morara, Kasamuel and the rest. This is a thankless job.
All right, there you have it. This is a thankless job. That is Prof's nugget of wisdom to all activists out here, that if indeed they believe in the cause, they will pursue it to the fullness of time, regardless of the challenges they are in. Until we meet next on Richard Mwenje Exclusive, do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Get me at Mwenje Richard on X and on TikTok. Get Prof at H Manyora on TikTok and X as well. Let's engage.